Last year, 18-year-old Tyler Clemente killed himself. Also, 14-year-old Jamie Rodemeyer killed himself. Both had been bullied in school for being gay. There were also other well-publicized gay youth suicides last year. The teens had all been bullied by peers in their schools and saw no other options other than suicide. Who knows what gifts the world was denied because of these tragic deaths. 34 years ago, when I was in 7th grade, I confided my secret to a girl. She betrayed my trust and outed me. From that day forward, my school years were living hell. I was frequently beaten up, called names, had food thrown on me, and basically condemned to hell on earth. My head was even shoved in a toilet once by a group of 8 of my peers. None of my abusers were punished. I avoided school whenever I could. I had been a reasonably happy child until that day. I began to think of suicide and even considered taking a shotgun to school to off my bullies. I was virtually a loner and soon discovered that I could at least temporarily escape this hell by sneaking into my parents' liquor cabinet and getting drunk. I changed schools several times, but to no avail, as Monroe is a small town and kids were so cruel. To this day, I still battle with the demons of addiction. However, with the clarity of an adult mind and the realization that it's okay to be myself, I'm able to keep the addiction demons away and actually assist others in fighting their addiction demons. Hardly a day goes by that I don't forget to thank the gods and the universe for not allowing me to kill myself or kill all of my bullies. I understand the rage that the Columbine killers felt. It's a frightening place when you can actually understand that rage. Technically, it's called PTSD. I vividly recall the time that I complained to the principal at school about how I was being treated. His response was, "Well, are you a fag?" I did not answer because I really didn't know. His advice to me was not to be one because fags get beat up. Statistics demonstrate that if you know 10 people, then you know at least one gay person. If you have younger siblings, cousins, church members, etc. in your life, the chances are you know someone who is enduring what I endured. But things have changed now. It's no longer cool to beat up gay folks. If for some reason you think the topic of gay bullying does not relate to you, I beg you to search youtube.com for Jonah Mowry, M-O-W-R-Y, videos. We'll now talk about the Safe Schools Improvement Act of 2011. It requires that schools and districts receiving federal funding to specifically prohibit bullying and harassment, including conduct based on a student's actual or perceived race, color, national origin, sex, disability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or religion. Now that I've told you about a couple of cases, I'm going to tell you why this act needs to be passed into law. But first, it's got to get out of committee where our elected politicians are playing politics with our children's lives and futures. Why is this needed? A 2009 United States Department of Education study found that bullying and harassment affects nearly 1 in 3 American students between the ages of 12 and 18. Another study estimates that 60,000 students in the U.S. do not attend school each day because they fear being bullied. Research shows that bullying and harassment have adverse consequences, including decreased concentration at school, increased school absenteeism, damage to the victim's self-esteem, and increased social anxiety. While we do have federal laws to provide support to promote school safety, there is nothing currently in place to comprehensively and expressly address issues of bullying or harassment. Only 3 states have a local law that addresses this. Awareness of the problem is growing. According to a recent poll, 85% of Americans strongly support or somewhat support a federal law to require schools to enforce specific rules to prevent bullying. Youth will continue to commit suicide, suffer in silence, act out violently, and not learn the proper manner in which to conduct themselves in the real working world. Many of my gay friends report that they knew at an early age that they were different. Some knew what gay was and others did not. However, all agree that the turbulent time of adolescence was made worse for those who were identified as gay. Now that we've touched on a few of the reasons why this legislation is needed, I'd like to talk to you about what can be done. Each of you can access more information about this problem by clicking stopbullying.gov or the Trevor, Trevor, project.org. While there is hope on the horizon with the possible passage of the Safe Schools Improvement Act, kids such as Jonah Mallory are hurting, and others are turning to addiction, and yet others are permanently depriving the world of their uniqueness by committing suicide. This is happening today at an alarming rate. I'm not asking you to like gay people, to approve of gay people, and certainly not asking you to encourage someone to become gay. As Lady Gaga sings, it's my belief that one is born this way. I'm simply asking you to do the right thing, to ensure that our youth, the future leaders of our country, are afforded the same opportunity as the majority of kids in school. Help protect these kids' civil rights and allow them the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I simply have one request of you this evening. Take a couple of minutes and click congress.org and enter your zip code. Discover who your congressperson and senators are. Call or email them and tell them we cannot allow another kid to kill themselves while they play politics with this proposed law. Get it out of committee. Please contact your elected officials and show your support for this much-needed legislation, the Safe Schools Improvement Act. Now that I've talked with you this evening about something I consider to be a matter of life or death, I have just a few thoughts to leave you with. For more information, click stopbullying.gov or the trevorproject.org, or Google search Anderson Cooper Anti-Bullying Special and watch this powerful video series that aired recently. Email me at wilsonje@warhawks.ulm.edu if you have any questions. More importantly, click on congress.org and show your support. It's the right thing to do.